Okay. And good morning. How are you guys doing? I'm gonna plug in here and get my mic set up. Holy moly. Okay. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? My mic wasn't set up. Okay. Anyway, how you doing? It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a good morning day. In New York, it's nice and cool and crisp. Not cold, but crisp, but nice. Anyway, let's see who's in the building. Good morning, Hannah. Hannah's the number one in the building. She's the first person in the building. Good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. And then we have wonderful Aya. She says, Grand Rising, Touch Base. Oh, sorry. Thank God it's Friday at Ron, Hannah, everyone, Touch Base Daily, and RLP. And then all the beautiful emojis. And third, look at Anthony in the first three. Anthony, Roland, good morning, RLP family. Then we have our wonderful Gwendolyn, Miss G, who's in the back row, who'll be up shortly. We got Amparo in the building, Grand Rising RLP family. We got Lisa in the building. She says, good morning. Did I get that up there? There we go. Let me click on that one more time. There it is. Good morning. And here we are. Here we all are. Anyway, today's gonna be a busy day. I got a long day of meetings and outings and being in the field. So when I leave you, I'll be on the road. So here we go. Let me bring Gwendolyn on. Good morning, Miss G.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's not, you know what? I really shouldn't say that. You know what? That's just not right. Let me not say it like that.
I like your jacket.
Say it again.
I like your jacket.
Oh,
your
my
hoodie.
okay, so this
is
was Mr. Jack's Air Force sweatshirt that has K-Jack on there, but it was so comfy when I tried it on, I never gave it back. So yeah, it's got United States Air Force. He was like, is that my sweatshirt? So I don't know about yours, but what's yours is mine. So yeah.
A true wife, a true wife move.
Yeah, I know, right? It's cool out,
but
you
partner move.
We've been up this morning. We have photos to get back to the food bank.
That's right. You've been working on your projects too.
Yeah, can I just say something real quick before you get started? There was a food bank, and it's a store, if you will, and it's on the campus of a high school. And so they did a ribbon cutting for this food bank so that young people don't have to go home hungry. Like we don't really talk about how food insecurity is an everyday event. It's not just the holidays, Thanksgiving, and what have you.
Right.
It is every single day. And school is where a number of kids get at least 2 meals.
They get 2 meals. I used to say they used to get 1 meal a day, at least.
You get like breakfast and lunch. And in the past, the food bank had a backpack program, and then they moved towards sending food home with these kids versus doing a backpack and what have you. And so the store has long shelf life foods. So dry goods, that kids can come in and shop like they would shop any other store and take these groceries home. But the idea came from a young lady, a senior now in the school. This wasn't from the food bank. This young lady said, I want to find a way to feed people in Denton County. And I was like, wait, what? And they said, hey, can we just start with the high school first? And then we'll see about doing other stuff. So I had the chance to chat with that young lady and 4 others. And I said, so all you guys are leaders? Are like, leaders? No, we are by no means leaders. No, all shy and stuff. And I said, look, leaders lead.
Yes. And why were they afraid? Well, why were they afraid to say they were leaders?
Society has a way of making kids feel some kind of way. But I said, at the end of the day, you young ladies who are going to maintain this place, you guys have left an impact that you won't even see or feel for years to come. You'll never know the lives you have touched because you want to help somebody else put food on the table. I said, go ahead and enjoy your legacy. Enjoy this moment because you guys are leaders. And it just warmed my heart to see young people getting out there and doing the work. I was like, I am in great company. I said, I feel privileged and honored to be around the 5 of you. Like, I'm just like, woo. They're like,
You
really? I was like, seriously.
man, they talk about this these are Jay are these the Jay-Zers generation, Jay-Z?
I believe they may be
Gen
alpha.
Z, yes.
This
That's what
is Gen
Carmen was talking
Alpha.
about. She says, "I love y'all, Gen Z." Yeah, I think it's Gen Z. Gen Z, it
No,
comes
this
to
isn't Gen Z.
they were how old were they?
Isn't no, okay, wait. Well, where is Alpha? Is Alpha like after? Are they
Oh,
like
alphas
doing
are
that?
children now. Alphas are not even 18 years old, I
Let
don't
me go
think.
ahead and ask the machine because we need
Yes,
to
ask it.
have
I don't think
details about
alphas
them.
have hit the machine yet. I don't say the industrial complex. They just haven't hit the road. They haven't aged. They haven't voted yet. Gen Z, I think, is the last. Were the first to they're the ones that voted this year. I think it was Gen Z.
All right, let's see here. They are born approximately mid to late 1990s and early 2010s.
Yeah, yeah. See,
They follow the millennials and they precede Gen Alpha. Okay, so they're not Gen Alpha. Okay.
yeah. Gen
Yes.
Zs are Gen teens are Gen Z just came of age to vote.
Well, can I jump in here real quick? This is really, I love asking the machine information.
The machine.
I haven't given my machine a name yet. I feel like his name should be Jerome because he has like that voice. It's a black man's voice. I'm sorry.
Is
The bass
Jerome.
is in there. I was like,
Is it
that's Jerome right there.
Jerome?
But some of the I'm just saying.
Jerome.
But some of the characteristics, they say tech savvy. They are diverse and inclusive, and they are socially conscious. Many Gen Zers are passionate about social issues such as climate change, equality, and mental health awareness. And they also put in their entrepreneurial and short attention spans.
Mm.
No.
Look at you giving us some information on the Gen
God,
Alpha.
God. I'm just like, wow.
Anthony says, my son is Generation Alpha, Gen Alpha, and he is 9 years old. Yes, they haven't come of age yet. Aya says, if anyone watching the full moon, that's a good question. And I love how Aya knows how to answer questions. She put the Q there and she says, if anyone watching the full moon this evening, please share tips for capturing great photos. Okay, y'all. Do you want me to take a pause for this? I'm going to take a pause for this. You know why? Photographing the moon is difficult if you do not have a full frame or a crop camera that you can also use f-stops and change your aperture, change your speed, your shutter speed, change your ISO. You got to be able to change those that we call the triangle. You got to be able to move through it. You cannot take it. I mean, people have tried, and there are some that have been lucky to get a good full moon shot with a smartphone. However, if you have a smartphone and you use a Lightroom program, the camera that comes with Lightroom, inside of Lightroom, you can adjust, like I was mentioning before, the ISO, the f-stop, and the speed in the Lightroom camera for your smartphone. So if you have a program like that on your smartphone that you can adjust, and let me go back. You also can, on your smartphone, use it in your camera mode. You can put your camera in most phones now in professional mode. And if you put your camera in professional mode, then you will be able to make those adjustments also. But the best photos of the moon are used with DSLRs or mirrorless cameras, full frame, crop frame, but the full frames are the best. And the reason, again, you have to You have to have your speed at least at like 350. Just give you some hints. Okay, so your shutter speed should let me get that right. Shutter speed should be about 350, and your f stop, if you can get it around f8, and then but you're gonna have to crank up your ISO. That is the best way to get it. But there are many other settings depending on again how bright is this moon, where's its position, if it's setting, is it rising, is it up high? Those are all the things that are going to change the factors of your settings. Aya, does that help? So let me know. Let me know. Any other suggestions out there by any of our other photographers? I see Tom says shutter speed is like shooting daylight since it's daytime on the moon. It's right. So again, you have to adjust your ISO. All three, I mean, one you say, we'll do a class. Oh, that may be that's a more extensive class. Sign up for my program and you'll get a lesson for that one. Because when I teach it, I teach it in 3 parts. I teach ISO to my students when I do tutoring. I teach ISO, I teach speed, and I teach aperture. And then I bring them all together, and then they get to see the triangle. And you get to see that if you go onto Google and go for exposure triangle, I think it's called the exposure triangle with aperture, ISO, and shutter speed, it'll come up as a triangle, and they're all in relationship to each other. When you adjust one, you adjust the others. So it's like they're all related, but you have to, when you make one adjustment, you're usually adjusting something else to make sure everything's working well.
Well, if you can't adjust, like say for example, if you can't adjust one thing, you can touch the other 2 or one of the 3 to make the same impact.
And Anthony has another.
If you had film, film is like if your film is set to, let's say, 200 ISO. Well, it's 200 ISO.
Yeah, that's gonna be low.
So I can change my aperture to get the same impact, or I can change my shutter speed and get the same, so you can. But once you know how they're all related, then you can do the math in your head.
Yes, Monavin is our he is our, what I call him, the photographer scientist, astronomer, because he literally calculates, and he has shooting the moon down to a science. And so if you want to go to his page, look up, I'll put it in the, I'll just add it to something that we'll look at on today's Focus Friday. So we'll put that in there. I'm going to look that up right now for you. But yeah, also Anthony says, yes, if you can use a tripod. Yes.
Yeah, tripod.
Use a tripod, set your camera to f11, keep your ISO at 100 if you can, set your shutter speed accordingly to the brightness of the moon. Ooh, that was perfectly said, Anthony.
Yeah, that tripod comes in handy.
If you're
about the tripod sometimes.
Yeah, because
something that's stable.
Most of the time you need the tripod. Most people don't have a tripod. But photographers, most people that are not photographers don't have a tripod.
What's so funny that you say that?
We who do photography, there's like, not 12, but there's about 6 of my I got 6 tripods in my drawer.
I have like
drawer on the wall. I got tripods everywhere.
Yeah.
But most people that are using their smartphones or using a hobby camera or just getting started, they don't have a tripod. But yeah, tonight is going to be the largest of the supermoons and the 4th of this year, and it's my favorite moon. It's the beaver moon.
I don't do a lot of moon photography.
Oh, I've taken moon photography.
I
Would you
don't know what
would
that's
you like
about.
to
I
see
mean,
would you like to see one? Maybe I should go pop one on the screen. Hold on.
while
How
you're
about
looking for one, I mean, I
yeah,
enjoy
while
looking
I'm
at
looking
it.
for moon shots, you can talk or
I
something.
don't do a lot of moonshots.
You don't? Why
I
not?
do not. Now, keep in mind, I don't do a lot of landscape photography. I do a lot of landscape photography on film, but
Uh-huh.
with my own camera, no, I don't. I think the moon is beautiful. Like I love to
Yeah.
look at the light and how it goes against different things or how it sets up the sky and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it, yeah, I'll sit outside and look for days, but for me to take my camera out and get into that, I don't. No. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I know, right? But I'm
That's
also the photographer that doesn't talk about photography on a consistent basis. I was like, okay, because it's a job. I mean, for me, it's
it
still
is
a
a
job,
job.
and I
It
don't
is.
like talking about my job every single day of the goddamn year. So
See, for me, it's my life. I love
it is
photography.
not.
I
It is
love
not.
photography. I do it everywhere.
Well, okay, so good point because when I think about what my job is
Mm-hmm.
creating a community and safe space for other people that brings them joy,
Mm.
inner peace, and what have you. I do that through different outlets. Photography is one of my outlets.
Well, here is something. Oh, this is just these are just and I'm not a moon like for I mean that's not my forte. I just do it for the fun of it. So just that I want y'all to know. If I show you this photo,
Show
a
the
couple-
photo, Ron. Just show the photo. It's okay. We're not going to
I
judge
am
your
a
art.
hobbyist, and so
We're
here
not
we
going to judge your art.
go.
Look at you, already making excuses.
I know. What can I say? I gotta be that guy. Okay. So
Well, that's gorgeous.
this is a one of my beaver moon shots. And it's pretty clear. I mean, obviously, because I have the city in the background,
Mhm.
and then there's another one as a setting. I have one more. So I have it here and I have it here in black and white. But I do have a collection of these babies. Oops, let me pop out of there. And I do have a folder called the Moon folder.
You have a
And,
lot of moon
and
shots.
there's one of them I wanted to share with you, but where is that moon shot? Is it the blood moon? Man,
I did get
maybe.
a blood moon shot once out in Austin after a horseback ride. That was awesome. But like I said, it has to touch me. Other than that, I don't go out shooting the moon.
Yeah, I mean, see, this one, I mean, my ISO was wrong. Like I said, this is I leave this for Madavan to do. I mean, but I try. I keep attempting. I think this is when I first started attempting to shoot the moon, and so that was a good question that you gave us. But I think there was one of them that really came
But
out
those
really
are
pretty
great.
cool.
You know, if I may just make a comment on
Oh,
your comment,
here's one of my favorite ones. But
that's
that's
a
like
nice one. I like
that
that
one
one.
was like, and you got the heat, so everything is like you
Yes.
know diffracted. The
Yeah.
moon, so
That's a great one.
that was going as it was heading down to the horizon, and I got lucky and got a plane in there, so I was like, yes, yes.
It's
So
intentional.
it was intentional and went perfect.
But your photography and you made a comment that a lot of other photographers and creatives often make. We will have people that do amazing work that we value and we admire. And when we
Mhm.
do our own version of it, because we all have our own voice, we immediately go to a place of, well, it's not as great as so and so. So maybe I was like, no, your art is great where it is.
Thank you, dear.
If you look at it, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you
no,
are
you're
saying, "Hey,
right.
I wanna do this better. I wanna be stronger here." You're giving yourself, adequate feedback, so but the more you practice, the better you
Yeah,
become.
exactly. And so every time I get these
Aspirate.
moons, I get excited because I use the buildings as backdrops or
Good
forward
composition.
drops,
Yeah.
and so I just go through them, and you'll see like
Those are
I'm
great, Ron.
yeah. So I mean, this is what me playing with the moon, and I literally have it's so interesting that I posted some of these. I posted two of these photos on Instagram randomly, and one person would say, "Hey, can I purchase that for my bedroom? I want that nicely framed." That's why I'm looking for my other beaver moon that the person bought. It was really cool picture.
Well, because I'm actually listening to you,
Yeah.
I would suggest that all creatives get to a place of playing again as if they were kids. Like we had such imagination when we were children.
Here's
And we
another
would go
cool
out
one.
and play with all kinds. God, that's awesome, Ron. We would go out and play with all kinds of ideas. And then as we become adults, we lose that creativity and we
Yes.
start second guessing ourselves and hoarding our art to ourselves. Share your arts, share your work. Just put it out there.
Just put it out there
You
in the
know?
world. You never know. I mean, again, we are more. I am more of a critic. I am a harsh critic of my own work, but
Everybody
that's
is.
normal with all of us,
Most
creatives.
people are. Because
And
society makes you feel that way. Society
yeah,
throws that message that if it's not perfect, don't put it out. Don't believe those haters. Screw those haters.
they're
Put
just
your work
snow.
out there.
Just
If
snow
it's just one
moon.
person who appreciates it, well, that's one. And you only got to touch one person, so don't worry about anything else.
It's very true. It's very true. This was the pink moon. So I try to collect some of these
You can
guys.
do a whole book on moons, Ron. So you out here
Look at that.
slipping. You
Look at this
slipping.
one. This one was from the rooftop of this building. During COVID, we were able to get, I was able to get on my roof, and I was able to take this picture. The sun was the moon was rising, and it had just stormed. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to get a picture? And that's why you see at the very bottom, there's some cloud cover. But yeah. So
Photographs
again, you
out
can
here
play
feel
with
great.
you play with it, but those settings will help you that Anthony just gave you. That's a good place to start, and I'm going to post that there again. There you go, from with Anthony's suggestions, and then you just kind of move around and make it happen. Okay. Wow, that was a good. That was a
I
good.
was like, what did I do? I went dark for a while. I was like, what did I do,
Did
Gwendolyn?
you? Oh, did you cut off your light?
I don't know. No, I don't know what happened. The camera was like, "Are you gonna stay still?" I just checked one thing and it was like, "I'm turning you off. Don't do that. Don't do that."
You want to see? Since I just stumbled upon it, you want to check this one? I mean,
Oh,
this
that's
one.
nice.
This
Got
one
a very
was the.
purple rainish feel.
This was truly your. This was. I thought about you when I photographed this. Believe it or not.
With the purple?
Yeah, the purple.
The purples and the pinks.
Cause anytime I see purple, I think of you. I say, because you are the purple rain girl.
People
You
think,
are
I mean,
Prince.
and I've said this, I am a Prince fan. I am. However, I don't do janky Prince paraphernalia. I appreciate his poetry, his writing, the way he puts together
Yes.
music. I'm not doing Prince sneakers and stickers and all that other stuff. People keep tagging me. It's like, I don't know why you tag me on that because that's whack.
Yeah.
Now, I never tell them that because that would be wrong, but it's not. But you need a. Lisa says you need a moon book. So can we just jump on that? If more people shared their creativity, shared their art, we said it before. It's the grocery store mentality. There are aisles with bottles of water and I said wine, bread, and peanut butter. You can put yours out there. There's room for your art too.
Yeah,
Let us
that's
not
right.
sleep on our gifts. The world requires us to share our genius. It requires it.
This is very
Somebody
true.
out there needed to see your moonshots today to inspire them to get up and go do it or to do something else. But we got to share our art. Like Tom did this. He did this oil and water. Is that what it is, Tom? It's beautiful. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Elise says,
share
yes,
your work.
Do a moon book. Okay. I'm gonna put that collection is easy because you better believe it. I am all excited about tonight. The moon will set roughly. Computer, what time is the moon setting?
From space.com. Sun and moon will both be above the horizon until the moon sets at 3:03 p.m.
Yes, so it's gonna be perfect. It'll be 3 o'clock, just after 3 o'clock in the morning. So I will get ready about 2:30-ish. I got my tripod, but I don't really use my tripod that much because I have my window sill and I use the window to rest my large lens on it. And I'll take some new photos. And I mean, that's what I love about living here. Because I got the moon is everywhere and the sun is everywhere. So the sun sets.
Isn't the moon and the sun everywhere?
No, I mean, it lands in different places along the horizon. Lord have mercy.
My bad. Okay, I'm gonna get it together.
Oh,
Get it
dog it.
together.
Anyway, who's into the room since we've been talking about the moon? That's my thing. I love the
Oh my
moon.
God.
I really do love the moon. The moon is one of my favorite things. Dr. Tachi's in the building. She says, wow, great tip, Anthony Rowland. And speaking of Anthony, did you find Dr. Tachi on wonderful Blue Sky? I sent you the link. Yes. And speaking of Blue Sky, for all those folks out there that no, before I go there, I want to give you guys some tips. I'm gonna lay low and just greet some folks that walked in the building. Okay, Tom is in the building. Yes, and if you're using a long lens, any slight shake will show. Use a mirror up and a trigger, or use the timer so you're not touching the camera when the shutter does its thing. Yes, Anthony. Okay, Tom is in the building. Kim is in the building. She says, although not a serious photographer, maybe one day these tips are 100%. And I see in the building, obviously, Elise came in the building. She's in the back room. She's going to be coming on soon. And who else is in the building that walked in? Okay, I see all the postings. I see everyone here. Tom says, I love the optical illusion when the moon is just rising and looks huge. An interesting foreground with moon never gets old. You know what, Tom? That's my favorite part of the moon, is when it's setting and when it's rising, is because it's so huge. And I'm like, oh, it looked like I just get on a plane and go there. However, it's so far away. Do you know the moon? I think the moon is a 2-day journey or a 3-day journey by spacecraft.
I never thought about it.
Computer, how long does it take to get from Earth to the moon on a spacecraft, modern spacecraft?
Oh boy.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, it takes about 3 days.
3 days. I know. Yeah, there we go. 3 days. 3 days.
I mean, the fact that you thought about going to the moon, I am actually quite impressed.
I used to be a space cadet. I used to be a space cadet. My auntie and my cousins will tell you I had all of the books on all of anything in space. I knew about the moons. I knew about every planet. I knew their distances. Now I can't remember all that stuff, half the stuff. But when I was a kid, I knew everything about space. Alpha Centauri, the Orion. Yeah, ladies.
I mean, I've heard about Orion's belt, but I think it's from
Orion's belt.
I don't know if it's. I mean, is that real?
Yeah,
I just know it from the movie.
Well, here's a little factoid. Here's a factoid for you. A fact for you. A fact for you. Did you know that the 3 stars in Orion's belt are perfectly in alignment with the 3 pyramids in Egypt? In Egypt, the three oldest pyramids that, well, technically speaking, we don't know if it's exactly the 3 oldest because there's so many more on the earth that have been built upon on over and over and over again. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'll draw me into that documentary. But did you know that they are perfectly in alignment? They're only off by less than something like 0.000 something percent. They are in perfect alignment. So how did they build those pyramids? Whoever knows, centuries ago, and they had the science to build them in the exact positions of the 3 stars in Orion's belt.
Well, wasn't a lot of things done by using the sun and the stars?
Yeah, but to get it perfectly in alignment without...
Well, perfect isn't really perfect.
Well, .00, I think it's like .0 or .099, something like it's as perfect can get.
Perfect as perfect can get.
Yeah. Like who built
My brain doesn't go. I mean, like, my brain goes to other places, but that's not one of them.
I'm that guy. I am that guy. I am that guy that goes,
I am that person, but it depends what the topic is. My in terms of like stars and moons and stuff. I think more about the stars than I do like the moons and the planets.
Let's bring Elise into
yeah,
this
bring Miss
conversation.
Elise. So we're gonna get to cosmic energy, and I like that.
Let's bring Elise into this conversation. What's going on, Elise?
Look, life is life, and right? The world is still turning.
Right? I mean, but is it? I mean, my buddy was here last. He got out of church. On Sunday, swung by. Oh no, it was Monday. It was Veterans Day. He didn't have to work. No, it was Sunday. He didn't have to work the next day. So anyway, he came by, and I had my documentary on. I'm looking at all the ancient pyramids, and I'm learning about all the different pyramids around the globe. I'm learning about the cities that are buried under the Amazon, like under the tree brush. Like people cannot see it because of the so much greenery and trees. But we have something called LiDAR. I think it is called LiDAR, where they can now look through the tree cover and see all of the roads and structures under the canopy of the trees. Fascinating. Anyway, that was my pyramid. I was in a pyramid moment.
Well, the pyramids are fascinating. People still can't figure them out. They can't figure out why.
They can't figure it out. How did they do it? How did they do it?
It's those ancient African mathematicians.
They and they were traveling and they were doing things way before we thought people can do it. I mean, you're talking about more than 12,000 years ago.
But geometry was birthed.
And we don't even know what the world was like 12,000 years ago.
We know geometry existed because they.
Yeah, we know. The sciences had to exist because they used it. I mean, they were traveling the oceans, navigating by the stars. I mean, 12,000 years. They used to say, "Oh, there were no intelligence past 5,000." Some of the folks that only believe that there's only 5,000 years of history because that's what the Bible says. It's like, as in the history that's documented, but they can't see beyond that. There were dinosaurs. I don't want to incriminate anyone. That I knew a woman. I knew a woman that she did not believe in the dinosaurs. And I said, ma'am, with all due respect, I was obviously a child, like a kid when she said this. I said, you do know that we just went to the Museum of Natural History and those bones are right there. We could see the bones. They're right there. There were dinosaurs. Oh, they made that up. That's not real. I was like, and she didn't believe. She did not believe that people went to the moon. She did not believe it. She thought it was all staged. I said, you know what? Now that I'm older, I said, you were part of the Tea Party. And you didn't even know it. You were an early settler of the Tea Party.
Anyway. I know someone who doesn't believe we went to the moon.
Yeah, there's some people that don't believe that we've been to the moon. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they stay so much out in the desert.
So this is Focus Friday. So we got a couple of things I wanted to bring to you. And if you have a Focus Friday link that you want to share, make sure you put an FF, Focus Friday, and then YouTube, the link, IG, the link, so that way we can do it. But there was one I definitely wanted to share with you, and then we'll do the blue sky at the end. So here we go. I gathered a bunch of stuff for you guys, so I may just go through it. I mean, you probably just say, Ron, just go for it, just go for the ride and just do it. But let me show you I follow him, but maybe you don't. I know some of you do. And I want to share this. So I have a folder on my Instagram called Focus Friday. So when I just see things that are fascinating that to bring to Focus Friday, I can bring it to you. So here's one right here.
Hear another word from a Trump supporter about DEI, affirmative action, or meritocracy after they voted for Donald Trump to be the first person ever elected president with no experience in government or military, voted for him again in 2024 as the first convicted felon ever elected president, allowed J.D. Vance to become vice president with no experience in elected office until last year, and now picked a white Fox News host to replace a black four-star general as Secretary of Defense. And for Attorney General, the nation's top law enforcement officer, they picked an insurrectionist who had to abruptly resign from Congress this week to stop the release of an ethics report after allegations of misappropriating campaign funds or personal expenses, illegal drug use, sharing sex videos on the House floor, sleeping with a 17-year-old, and child sex trafficking. It's not about qualifications. America's never cared about qualifications or meritocracy. For white people, they only bring that up with black people, women, and any other group of people they dislike at the moment. If you're a straight white male or politically conservative, they couldn't care less about your qualifications. And don't give me any lip about women and people of color in the Republican Party. They are an afterthought who only exist to own the libs and must subscribe to the GOP's hierarchy of patriarchal white supremacy. This is how Republicans play identity politics. If Democrats get a woman, they'll find a woman. If Democrats get a black person, they'll find a black person. As long as the woman or black person follows their narrow conservative political beliefs, the qualifications don't matter. That's why they picked unqualified Clarence Thomas to replace the legendary Thurgood Marshall in the Supreme Court in 1991. Why they picked unqualified Alan Keyes, a random black guy from Maryland, to run against Barack Obama for the U.S. Senate seat in Illinois in 2004. Why they rushed to find unqualified Sarah Palin from Alaska after Senator Hillary Clinton got 18 million votes in 2008. Why they rammed through Amy Coney Barrett after only 3 years as a judge to replace the legendary Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the nation's highest court before the presidential election in 2020. And why they picked retired football player Herschel Walker to run against Senator Raphael Warnock for U.S. Senate in 2022. Vice President Kamala Harris had federal, state, and local experience and worked with all three branches of government, and they still called her unqualified. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson graduated from Harvard undergrad, Harvard Law, clerked for Supreme Court Justice, served on the U.S. Sentencing Commission, a federal district court, and a federal appellate court, was the first former public defender to join the U.S. Supreme Court, and had more experience than any other justice in the court when they were nominated, but they still claim she was unqualified. They called the duly elected mayor of Baltimore the DEI mayor just because he was black and happened to be in office at the time of Bridge Collapse. And they called Biden's entire cabinet a DEI cabinet just because he picked experienced, qualified leaders who weren't all straight white men. This is the delusional brainwashing of white supremacy. And for the Tim Scotts and Byron Donalds and black and brown enablers who occupy the lowest plank of the totem pole in the Republican Party, don't think they won't come for you if you ever dare to grow a backbone and step out of line. To paraphrase Jay-Z's use of the N-word in a way that won't get me censored on this platform: light black, dark black, faux black, real black, rich black, poor black, house black, feel black, still black.
Love him. If you have not seen his page, let me just get that. This is Keith. Let me just bring up his page so you can see it. It is Keith Boykin. And he's an author, and he does a lot. He appears on CNN, MSNBC, he shows up in different places in different circles, but his page is full of smart, intellectual challenges to the status quo, and really he digs into a whole lot. I mean, you could stay on his page all day and learn about politics, learn about history, learn about administrations of past, administrations forward, administrations now. You can learn so much. Keith, love this guy, love what he does, and he continues to educate people. Anyway, any of you ladies have anything to say about that? Do anybody? I know. Elise, you are you on? Did I lose Elise? Sorry, my bad. Got the wrong one. There we go. I took off the wrong thing. Elise, are you following his page?
Yeah, and I watch it. I see him on TikTok and on Instagram. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, he said what needed to be said.
Everything, right?
Qualifications only come up with the most qualified people. Not if you don't agree with them, they're not looking for people who are well educated and qualified. They're looking for people who are loyalists. They're looking for people who would do anything they tell them to do. They're not looking for those people. And I've always said, when they talk about DEI, they are the DEI hires. They are, because who would pick them normally? What job would they get? You look at Guest. He has basically little to no legal experience. And he's now you want to put him as AG, and then his assistant AG. He's thinking about making his own lawyer, the assistant AG.
Oh, it's the insanity. The insanity.
Yeah, people need to hear it plain. And then the last part when he said, "It doesn't matter what black you are, you still black. Your money has no meaning to them unless you. All they want is to use your money. They use you. They don't care." Mm-hmm. And he have all those black lemmings, loyalists, who followed him, and their memes now. People are making jokes about them because they're like, "Where's my cabinet post? Did you really think? Did you really think?"
I was like, "You didn't get that black job."
No, you didn't get that black job. First of all, they letting you know this is not what they consider black jobs.
Yeah. So anyway, Gwendolyn has submitted. This is a look at Tarrant Area Food Bank.
Yeah, I'm gonna spotlight my charity of choice. I'm gonna spotlight it. They have a YouTube channel and they also have their Instagram channel. And I just want to spotlight them because there are a number of organizations out here doing the work in the community. And Tarrant County is really big in Texas, so it's not just like Arlington and Fort Worth. It's a huge area, and so we are working on getting more information out. Especially if you are on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, you can get recipes to reuse food. So not only are they looking to feed people, but we're also telling those who have access to not throw food away and to reduce food waste, which I hate wasting good food. So they are my account of choice because they are doing some really good work across the board.
The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, helps families buy the food they need. SNAP is for low-income individuals and families. Even if you're working, you may qualify for SNAP. SNAP can be used to buy things like bread, meat, fruit, vegetables, and dairy. You can buy food at any convenience and grocery store and online from retailers that accept SNAP. Apply for SNAP at yourtexasbenefits.com by calling 211, visiting a local Health and Human Services benefits office, or at a community partner organization in your area.
That's really cool.
One last thing before you move on to the next. The one thing that they really do focus on is that they know that food insecurity for some people can be embarrassing. And what you don't want to do is make anyone who needs any assistance to feel less than. So the events that we do, the mobile food drives, the stores inside of schools and other places, they make sure that the families still have the dignity that they've always had when they come in and shop.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get connected to them?
Okay, so as I told everybody before, during my stint of being homeless and being food insecure, sometimes you need a little help here and there. And it's anything that really brings...
Hi, everybody. It's Viviana Minda.
You in the South. Brings tears to my heart is like, food insecurity in kids and adults being impacted by that. So when I thought about how I want to be more active in my community, one, I wanted to use my photography to do that. So I am the volunteer photographer. They lost all 6 of their photographers after COVID. And these folks were truly volunteers. So they just use like a camera. That's not what Gwendolyn goes to work with. Gwendolyn works with her real deal tools. So not only were myself and my husband donating money to the food bank, I decided I'm going to go one step further and donate my time. But every customer who comes through G Photography, 5% of what they purchase goes automatically to the food bank before anything is taken off like
Mm.
their like operating expenses.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I have a thing about food insecurity. I've dealt with it as a kid, dealt with it as an adult, and it, you know, if you're hungry, it's really hard to kind of get through the day. It just is. So that's one of my top charities is Tarrant Area Food Bank. So
Yeah.
Wow.
there you go.
I think, you know, we have to be prepared for more of that
Yes.
in the coming, you know, at least for the next 4 years, because of the places that are not going to, they're going to discontinue programs. It's like the
Yes.
breakfast programs and things like that. We have to be conscious of where that is in our community, because, you know, even though the lunches are horrible, having them have to struggle with, do I pay and do I have the food to send with my child is going to be a real issue. Like currently my granddaughter's entire school is Title I school. And people don't understand the importance of Title I, right? So Title I, they get their breakfast, they get their lunch. And then even during the breaks, they actually have sites that provide food. Like
Wow.
and then the Christmas holidays, they actually have certain schools and facilities that are open that feed the community. And those are things.
Elise, I'm going to, what creates these titles, like a Title I or a Title II? What's the difference between a Title I, Title II school? Or
so Title I is based around it's all around incomes and that kind of thing. So Title I school, the majority of the students are living at or below the poverty level.
okay.
And so those resources, they get extra resources, and that's where that's what people don't understand about the Department of Education. We have to come on one day and really explain the purpose of the Department of Education.
I am so down for that,
because people don't understand the Department of Education is responsible for getting those resources to the schools in need and communities that are in need. So Title I dollars actually come to the states from the federal government Department of Education. That's what the Department of Education does, is provide resources and guidance. And so those Title I resources come to the school districts, and the school districts look at the communities and they distribute those funds accordingly. So those funds get extra funds because the students in there have more. And that's how Title I operates. So you may have entire schools, because the majority of the schools, the higher percentage of the majority of the students, it could be anywhere from 75 to almost 100% of the students are students who are in that category. So the entire school becomes Title I.
Wow.
And then you have some students who receive Title I because of that. So they have free or reduced lunch as individual students. And here you just have your student ID, and you put your student ID in there. They don't know, like other students don't know anything about your category. You just put your ID in. And what DC did was to make breakfast free for every student in the district. It didn't matter where you live. So that's what DC did. And so that's what, as they come back and they get rid of the federal Department of Education, they're going to go back to where the reason all of these things were created, because they had all these block grants.
Yes.
So they're going to go in block grants. So, you know, people who are in I always go to Jackson, Mississippi, or wherever you want to go. If you're down in those places, you were a Title I school, they could decide to take the dollars because it's in a block and not give those dollars to you.
Wow.
They can now distribute the dollars where they want to distribute the dollars, which is what happened to Jackson, Mississippi, when they had their water issue. They gave the money for the infrastructure to the suburbs and not to the city that needed it. Wow. So they can decide it's going to be up to the states where the funds go. Right now, the federal government has guidelines and it directs and it knows where those communities are.
Yes.
All of that's no longer going to be there, because you're not going to have anyone who is making sure the guidelines are followed. There will be no guidelines.
There'll be no guidelines. It's back to the states. Back to the states.
So that's how it's decided. And so Title I schools, we have quite a few Title I schools in DC because of low-income students. And so they get free lunches, and everybody gets the free breakfast, but they get free lunches included in that. And then if they stay in after school programs, they also provide what they call supper. They're in one of our after school programs. So they send food in the evening for those students who are in after school programs. Those things, DC will probably do their best to keep it, but I know, part of their thing is to punish DC.
Yes.
So that's the part we're going to have to be concerned about in DC.
Ugh.
But that's what those resources do. And that's what people have, basically the people who put these maniacs in place, that's what they have voted to destroy. And they don't understand it because it's going to impact their children.
It's
If
going to impact everyone.
Yes.
you're living in
let's
West
get to-
Virginia,
I want to
you're
take it
living
to the
in parts
next.
of Mississippi, it's going to impact you and your children.
I'm gonna take it to the next video because that sounds like we definitely need to kind of like do a Focus Friday just on that alone.
People just need to understand what the
Yeah.
Department of Education is and is not.
Wow. Here's something that was really fascinating to me. Oh, hold on a second. Here we go. I'm gonna get this on the screen for you. Check this out. This is another page. I like this page. It's called Africa Giant. Africa Giant. Here we go.
Certified professionals in the world. At just 10 years old, Emanuela Mayaki was hired from Nigeria to the UK to teach coding to pupils in her age group in Southfield Primary School, Coventry, England. And at only age 13, the tech prodigy set a record by becoming one of the youngest students ever accepted into the university in the US. Extraordinary. Emanuela was accepted into the program for the exceptionally gifted, PG, at Mary Baldwin, United States, to study computer science. Her love affair with computers began at the tender age of 7, quickly evolving into a mastery of programming languages from HTML to Java. By 11, with her innovative spirit, she developed a mobile app and website called CodeKid, an ICT academy in Abuja. Empowering young girls with coding skills, Emanuela has been named one of the youngest Microsoft certified professionals, nominated as a STEM icon, and even recognized by the United Nations as an SDG ambassador. In a world where tech giants are often seasoned adults, Emanuela, who is now 14 years old, shines as a beacon of youthful brilliance. Meet one of the youngest Microsoft certified professionals in the world at just 10.
That is, and so what this is this platform. Let me just see if I can just go to. I'm not going to play it.
10 out of a billion African.
Go straight there too. This is the page. It's called Africa Giant, and what they do is they go through all of African people of African descent all over the globe that are making a difference on our planet or have made differences. But most of these people that are alive, that are making differences, and I mean like really like scientists, kids that are graduating Harvard, and all these fascinating individuals, basketball players, boxers, military people, Marvel comics, actors, actresses. It is the most fascinating page on Instagram. And so if you don't know about them, this is called Africa Giant. They have about 86.8K followers. I mean, I could stay on this thing all day long because it has so much information, and you learn things about people that you never knew even existed. You're like, oh, these amazing people right here on Earth right now. In the African descent, the African diaspora, just everyone there is right here. They make a good job of highlighting them in such a beautiful way. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. And anyone out there have anything that I don't see any other FFs out there. Gwendolyn or Elise, you have anything that any other ones you have? I do have more. I
don't have any others. I haven't been on social media that often. Yeah, I'm about to disconnect real. Like in 2 weeks, it's out. I'm out. I'm done.
Here's another good one. For all of the people out there that are interested in seeing the world from abroad. And since I've been talking about my journey of where I'm ready to go, I said, I've been doing my research and coming across some incredible pages. This one is one of my favorites.
You're not depressed. You just live in the US. Hear me out. It's not just you. The food in the US is filled with chemicals, pesticides, and toxins that can make you feel sick and sluggish and unmotivated. Adding on to that, let's not even talk about the skyrocketing decline in mental health and the constant mass shootings happening in schools. It is so easy to feel trapped and depressed when this is all happening around you. And then people make it seem like it's normal. But here's something about the US that no one talks about. Geographically, the United States is one of the most isolating countries. Let me show you. The US is right here, far away from the rest of the world. To experience beautiful countries like Europe, Asia, Africa, Russia, China, you're looking at about an 8 to 25 hour flight on a plane. It's no wonder why everyone just goes to Mexico for a quick vacation. But you're missing out on these beautiful countries because, I mean, I don't blame you. But here's something they don't want you to know. Making Europe your home base unlocks the rest of the world. You can hop on over to places like Paris, Germany, Spain in a quick 2-hour flight. This is exactly why I made Europe my home base just 12 months ago. And I've been able to travel and live in over 7+ countries the past 6 months. It has completely changed my lifestyle, the way that I see the world, and how quickly I can travel to bucket list destinations that fast. So if you're ready to make Europe your home base, comment news in the comments. I'll send you my free guide. And you can also join over 50,000 people taking the leap.
And her page is Michelle the Lux Nomad. And this, I mean, her page is so fascinating. She talks about getting visas, how to get your visa, how to travel, how to, if you want to take time off from living in the US for a year and traveling different places around the globe. She lays out all this information. I mean, it is, again, she is doing her thing. She started her journey in, I think, November 2023, and she has been on the road doing her thing. And it's so good to see her. And I was like, oh, I am in. I'm gonna reach. I have to reach out to her. But I am just like, wow. But again, you can go through a lot of this stuff. She did one. What was the other one? I'm not gonna go through all. I want to make sure we get through other stuff. But if you're interested in travel, even if you just want to get travel tips, and this is pretty much, like I said, to go longer than a week or two. This is if you want to travel for a month at a time in different places. Go for it. And
when I grow up, maybe I'll do that.
Elise, I think I sent it to you personally. There was a couple of people that I sent it to personally because I was like, Elise and her husband could do this. And so, anyway, I think they're great. Let's see here. I see here. Let's go now.
And for people who are going to be traveling next year, will be when we have to have the visa for Europe.
Yes,
it'll start next year.
We have to have a visa.
You can do it online, they say, so it's supposed to be quick, but yeah, we're gonna need to apply for that visa next year.
Here's another page that I fell in love with, and this one I'm gonna bring to you.
Excuse me, sir. You look super confident.
I love that.
What makes you confident?
I love myself. That's one thing. Confidence. It's a loop. The more competent you are, the more confident you become. Keeping the promises that I make to myself. This makes me confident because I trust myself. So I have no problem doing anything.
Wow. If we can go back to your childhood, what has been the biggest struggle you dealt with?
Going full out, I will say. I knew I could. So I will tell my younger self, just go all in. Just don't doubt yourself, just go all in. At the best case scenario, you win. The worst case scenario, it doesn't matter.
What do you think was holding you back?
Lack of confidence, which I have now.
What was a compliment you received that stood out to you?
You're special. Everybody's not special to everybody, but you're always special in a way. And once you find that way, you can just roll with it, and it's going to give you a boost of confidence and a boost of self-esteem as well.
Advice to your younger self?
Follow your intuition. It comes from the guts, and this is beside everything else. And you're always right when you follow intuition.
What was your name?
Loic.
Yes. I'm David. It's a
pleasure
pleasure to meet you. Thank you for stopping. Excuse me.
This is the confidence heist. And what he does is he walks up to people all over New York City. I think it's pretty much New York City. At least the ones I've seen is New York City. And what he does is he sees people that are just walking in their confidence, and they just walking. They're walking with their stride. He probably has crossed Gwendolyn's path. But Gwendolyn has that walk. When you see Gwendolyn walk, she walks like she is in command.
It's not like she.
She is.
Gwendolyn is in command.
She is in command. Excuse me, Gwendolyn. She walks in her position of being in command. There you go. Anyway, this page is really great because it really is good for you. When he just walks up and talks to them, asks them several questions about their confidence, and they're walking confident, and they're looking confident, and what caused them to be confident. And it makes you think about a lot of stuff that you're like, you know what? I need to walk in my confidence. Or I didn't think about that area of my life. Like he was just saying, someone gave him, he's walking in confidence because someone gave him, the words and saying, hey, you could do this, or something, but it's a bunch of these different interviews. I think this definitely inspires and definitely encourages people, and is truly a blessing.
Yeah. And he said the words at the beginning that I share with a friend of mine all the time. I said, you are confident and competent.
Oh, say it again. Say it one more
all
time.
the time. You are confident and competent. Because people need to understand that those two go together, and so many of us don't. We kind of question ourselves, and we don't know what's coming from a lack of confidence. Because I know I had this discussion about that imposter syndrome, and imposter syndrome. But see, most people receive it as saying that. So imposter means I'm trying to pretend to be something. That's not the problem.
You and Gwendolyn, y'all soul sisters.
Confidence to be who I am and walk into who I am. I'm not trying to be anyone. To me, to say I have imposter syndrome is I'm trying to pretend to be something else. I don't have imposter syndrome. I have suffered from low self-esteem and lack of confidence. To me, that's not an imposter. That's something I had to work on myself. So that's why I don't use the phrase, just simply because that's what I truly believe. When you say that I have imposter syndrome, that means you've been trying to be something that you're not.
Ooh.
Where you really do, if when you dig deep, you lack confidence, and you suffer from low self-esteem for whatever reasons that you came up. I have identified those things. And so we have to walk in confidence and competence. And I understand that I'm competent. I know that I'm confident about what I say because I'm competent in what I know.
Well,
Speak it.
I don't know what thoughts on that, but
may I add one?
Can I say amen?
Amen. Church will say amen and pass that collection plate. Let me just add one more thing to that, and I'm not going to continue down the path.
Don't get G started.
With Mr. Lee, we've already had that conversation.
Yes, we know how G feels.
You and I were talking about energy. I was speaking about energy, how in the world of New York, I can be walking down the street and someone will stop and say, hey, can you tell me where this is? Because when you are confident and competent and you actually understand just how great you are, people feel that energy and they are attracted to it. When you're kind of funny, people also feel that too, and they shy away from it. Right. I am a stranger in a city full of strangers, and yet and still, people will stop me and ask for directions, ask for this, ask for that, because they feel it and they're seeing it. Now, my last thing is my grandmama always told me, she told all of us, whether you have a nickel in your pocket or just lint, you always walk into every space with your head held high. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I mean that. You can try, get your feelings hurt.
But that's the one thing you learn. I was like, when I walk into a store, I don't care if it's Tiffany, I don't care where I walk into, I belong. And I tell people quickly, I think you need to ask someone else because right now I don't need your service. I think I know what I'm doing. But I walk into every store like that. That's my kids crazy. It's like I walk in here because I belong here, not as if I belong, and I know I belong there.
You better tell him, Miss Elise. You better tell him.
Because we can't underestimate ourselves.
But something I've learned from both of you. Words matter.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I always knew words matter, but you guys given me, you two have given me another level of the mindset of the words we speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I walk around with confidence all over New York. I mean, I know I'm a New Yorker. I love New York. I'm one of the best New Yorkers in New York. So I'm like, that's how I walk around. I go to the opera. I go to the museums. I go to the galleries. I go to the events. I go to A-list events. I go to B-list. I go to no Vincent. Oh, I mean, like the bottom events. I go everywhere. I'm a part of the city. I love the city. I love people like Ron. You're this place and that place. How do you do it? I love the city, and I walk into the rooms like, not like. I changed that word. Like I belong. I walk in the room because I do belong. So it's a matter of changing those little nuances in our words and how we describe things.
How we speak to ourselves.
Right.
How we speak to ourselves. Like we spoke about listening.
Yes.
But it's not just, again, it is the words you choose to use, even for yourself.
Right.
Like even for yourself. When people say, well, it's like, no, it is or it isn't. Which one is it?
Right. And that's And that's what I was gonna say. The most important words are the ones you say to yourself.
Ooh,
those are the most dangerous words in the world. No one can tear you down like you tear you down. So you have to look at the negative self-talk you have.
Yes.
Because that's what really brings us down. And I stopped saying I believe and started saying I know.
See, I
stopped saying I am.
Think. Don't say I think. It's like I am aware of, I am sure.
Right.
There's a difference. But we have to hear ourselves as well. Like
your competence is your confidence.
People think that using like vulgarities, what's termed as vulgarities, is awful. No, stupid is awful.
Yes.
Dumb is awful.
Oh, I hate when I see
all
a
those
parent
things. Those are worse than saying
Yes.
some of the stuff that I've said because I didn't say something.
Let me tell you all a funny story of what really convinced me we should say I know and not I know and not I believe. Watching the Book of Clarence.
Oh, really? Really?
That was a good movie.
because he kept saying knowing is better than believing. So by the time he got to the end and he spoke to his brother, he said, I don't believe I know. I know.
I haven't seen the movie. I started to look at it.
You have to watch
and I haven't finished. I haven't got past the first 20 minutes of it. I was on vacation somewhere.
Okay. You have to watch it because I think that a lot of people saw some of the trailers and probably misinterpreted what it was about. But I think the most powerful statement he has in there is I believe, I know, and knowing is stronger than belief. Because belief still leaves room for doubt.
Yes.
Knowing,
well, anyway, I'm gonna have
that confidence.
It is 11:10. I'm gonna let everybody go because I got a meeting in the city got to run to. And this was great. Again, we got some good. I'll put some of this stuff in the description. Brian, I wish we could have brought you on. I know I see you in there. I'll just bring you on to say hi. Hey, Brian, but I'm gonna let you go now. I'm gonna let everybody go. But hey, B, and Mr. B is in the room. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you all for helping. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
And I'm gonna also just give you these last. Oops, I'm gonna pop off here and pop off there. Okay, I need a producer at some point. Okay, here we go. And I would just want to also share the last thing with you guys. And thank you for all of you who have joined me over in our wonderful Blue Sky. You probably saw me put out there Blue Sky yesterday. I really put a little campaign on my page and let people know that I was on Blue Sky. And you're probably saying, what is Blue Sky? Blue Sky is now the new platform. It's been around for a bit. but it's a new is where everyone's going that wants to get away from X or Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. And so I've been having a great time. I've been meeting so many photographers and connecting with other photographers, having conversations, because guess what? We're all starting out at zero. We're all starting out at 0 followers. And it feels so good to just connect with people. So if you want to connect, you are able to find me on Ron. It's just me at Ron Foster. And it's Ron Foster, BSKY social. But on Blue Sky, I've been sharing all of my old photos from my travels on this platform. And if you want to see that, that's where you'll see most of my photography that I don't get to share on Instagram. And Instagram is pretty much just like my connection of just like a little mini portfolio. But this is where you'll see a lot of the photos that I've taken in Africa, in Iceland, and different countries around the world. And you'll see all that kind of photography there that I'm putting in every day. And I'm meeting new people. I'm having chats and conversations, and it has been really cool. Like I just see some more folks that just like it. Some of my work that I put out there. I just put out this one today, and so there's a couple of people out there responding. I saw it looks like someone reposted it, and so. Again, and then having these great conversations with so many people, introducing myself to them and other photographers. Guys, this is a great place, especially for photographers. If you are just starting out in photography, go over to Blue Sky. It really is a great way to meet other photographers, even if you are a hobbyist photographer, because there's lots of photographers on here that are just hobbyists. They just want to hey, I'm not a professional and I just photograph on weekends, but they're here and they're having conversations and they're getting to know other people and meet other people. And I mean other photographers. So guys, do it. It's so cool. Like I said, when I started, I had 0 people, right? Zero followers. Now I got 41 followers, and you'll just keep growing. And can I give you a suggestion when I'm out of here? The suggestion is, 1, make sure you put a banner in. And maybe what we'll do next week is we'll go over this and how to set up your page. So that way, using Canva and using different little tools to make your page look nice and also set up your edit profile. So make sure that's up to par, because you can also put links in. For instance, like you can just go here and then go straight to my link tree, just like that, and then find out the rest of what I do. So there's ways to just set out there and kind of like set yourself up on a new platform. And again, like this one lady, she's a hobby person, she's a hobbyist photographer, and she says, "Oh, I'm so alone. I'm starting at 0." And I sent a text to her and said, "Well, I am your first follower." And she sent me a text back and said, "Thank you so much." That's what it's all about, building social connection on social media. And you get this great opportunity to start all over again. For all those people that were on Twitter and then try to get on Twitter and then try to get into these circles and couldn't get in the circles and then couldn't meet people and all this. This is all starting it's like Twitter is starting from the very beginning, but it's on Blue Sky. And they have a lot of other little interesting, like you can create lists, it has feeds. You can also write in the pictures, and so you can describe your picture to people that are sight impaired. So it's really, I love it. I've been on it for 3 days. Today's the 3rd day. I'm having fun. I'm connecting because everybody's at 0. I've also been connecting with some of the political folks like Adam Kinzinger and all the other people out there, and connecting with people that are in politics. It's been really cool to be able to be starting at 0. So, but you won't be at 0 for long. Okay, so get out there and do it. So that's my thing. I can't believe it's Friday, y'all. It's already Friday. It's the weekend. Do something beautiful. Do something you love. Do something that you care about. And most of all, do something that will help you in your own self-care. Do something for yourself this weekend. Take time to give yourself a hug. Take time to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I love you. You know, that's one of the hardest things for people to do is to look in the mirror and tell themselves, well, not Gwendolyn, not Elise, but to look in the mirror and say, I love you, and point to yourself. Take some time out this weekend and do some real health, some real self-care, and connect with yourself and the people you love around you. Okay, I think that's great. Chrissy says, not me. I love myself. Yes, she does. Just right, Chrissy. Chrissy, I love you, my dear. She says, I practice daily self-affirmations. That's right. I know Lisa does affirmations. Yep. There's a couple of folks in here that do affirmations. Jazzy Jazz, she says, thank you. Jazzy says, thank you. Okay, guys. And I will see you guys on Monday. Take care. Have a great weekend. Later.